I don't think so. We've been talking about a lot about podcasting because we're obviously on a podcast, and that's what
Yeah.
I do. But I think there's different ways to authentically build your personal brand. Many people do it without having to be like. It doesn't mean you have to start being on video. For example, when I started in this, I was so scared to be behind a microphone or anything else. I didn't even. I'm world's worst podcaster, world's worst anything. I didn't even use my real name. Like I was so frightened that people wouldn't find out it was me like doing this. Like that doesn't even make sense looking back. I didn't turn on a camera until after 1,500 interviews. Cause if you turn one on, I would literally like go blank. I'm like, what's my name? I couldn't even say my name straight. So I'm not saying that people have to turn into extroverts. That was actually when I decided I would be full time in this business. That was something, the decision I made, and I went that route, right? But
Hmm.
everybody doesn't have to. When you're thinking about building your personal brand and or creating content, you can look at different types of mediums. So what it comes down to is how are you going to add value? Like how are you going to add
Yeah.
value to the marketplace? So, and what are you going to do? You're going to create an AR, maybe an AI avatar. Are you going to create are you going to create something else where you're going to be giving content away? You can ebooks, you can give away ebooks, you can write, you can, if some people have written under a pen name and not use their real name. But the thing is with that nowadays is when you think about the authenticity side, people will look at it a little bit weird. Like, why is this person writing under their own name? Or what are they trying to hide? Or is this authentic? Is it not? But that's because the audience wants somebody, they want to feel closer to the person that's creating the content. But does it mean you have to be an extrovert? I don't think so. Like you can figure out different ways to add, but it's value. It's value. It's how are you going to add value to the marketplace is what it comes down to, and whatever way, shape, and form that is. I will say though, for those that are extroverted and have the ability, I'm not, so not naturally. So the people that could wake up and they could share everything about their life and all the bad that's happening and all the good and everything, and those people tend to build many times can sometimes hit a wave on building a following or something else a little bit faster than some others.
Yeah.
But it can be done. It can be done. It's just a matter of figuring out how you want to do it and what you're comfortable with. Because if you're inauthentic and if you're forcing yourself to do something that you don't want to do, it's not going to work anyway. It's not going to work.
Just it's kind of like have you need to have the repetition and to get the hang of it if you're not used to if it's not something natural to you.
Yeah, that's my case for sure. Like you could look at it two different ways. I could be either decent at podcasting because I've done over 6,000 episodes, or I could be the world's worst podcaster because I've done over 6,000
Yeah.
episodes and I don't have Joe Rogan numbers. So I don't know. It just depends on how you're reading the data, man. It just depends on how you're reading the data. I tell my friends that all the time. I'm like, well, thank you. I'm doing decent, but I could also be considered the world's worst. Like, dang, how many do you have to do?
When do you catch a break? Oh man. Yeah, I mean, I think for our case, we're also waiting for our big break.
Mm,
Not waiting, we're pursuing it.
yeah.
And like if we always constantly reassure ourselves that it's gonna come, you know.
Mm,
If it's we don't know if it's like false hope or if it's
yeah.
actually something that's gonna be achieved, but we don't like we keep doing it. It's like
Mm,
you can't stop. Plus, we've already been doing it for 5 years, and it's also much easier than when we first started. So there's no point of quitting at this point, because like it doesn't take much time. There isn't it's not as hard as it used to be. You're already stuck in mud, and you're
okay.
already like
I
we can do
love
three
this
podcasts
mindset,
in a week.
Saeed.
Yeah, I mean we
No,
literally
you
have three
think I'm
podcasts this
joking. You
week,
think,
and
might
we
think
can. It's fine. Like we don't.
Let me
Like we
explain
don't give a shit.
something to you. This is so good. One of our profit centers. So one of the things my company does is so there's a media side, but then there's an agency side. So we've launched over 250 shows on the agency side, and these
Hmm.
people like you mentioned, you're in Hollywood, so you know everybody there that has an idea or all these other things they're pitching. They're pitching. Well, when somebody comes to me like an entrepreneur and they're like, "Hey, I have this idea, blah 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 blah," and I'm like, all I'm interested in is the show that you can do in your sleep. I want you to be able to roll out of bed and do this show, because if you can't, you're going to quit. And I'll tell you
Yeah.
why you're going to quit. If business gets too good from the show, you're going to quit because you don't have time. If business gets really slow and there's a real downturn, now you don't have money to pay for production, you're going to quit. So you're going to have to always, and if you create this complicated show concept that's going to be hard for you to pull off and that's going to take hours and hours and hours of prep every week, then you're going to have to be in this perfect sweet spot in order to be consistent. And it ain't going to happen. Like, period.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're going to quit, whether it's in 1 year, in 2 years, in 3 years, in 5 years, you're going to quit. So I'll save you the headache now. Give me the show that you can do in your sleep, because I don't want you to have to think about it. I'm working with an orthopedic or a cardiovascular, no, he's an orthopedic surgeon, and he's super, super busy, and he's got all these other things going on. And I'm like, nope, nope. Okay, I know you want to do that show. Nope, yeah, it's going to take too much prep for you. You're not going to do it. You're going to be busy. Other things happen. And the problem is, once you miss an episode in a week for your audience, if you've given them the commitment that you're going to do one per week, once you've done that, podcast listeners are very creatures of habits. And I know you guys know that, because every time you release an episode, you see your numbers, downloads go up, and then it goes right back down. Whatever the number down is doesn't matter, whatever that median is.
Yeah.
But you know when you release when it's going to happen. And so they're creatures of habit. So as soon as you don't release when you say you're going to release, you broke a little bit of trust. And we know how long it can take to earn somebody's trust and how easy it is to lose that trust. So what happens with podcasting is you got to be consistent. It's going to take some time. But the other part, and this is where people have the unrealistic expectation, and is when you look at some, is they don't compare apples to apples. So I'll give you just one. Let's do some very simple math, very, very simple math. You go, if you have 10, to the new podcast listeners out there, you got 10 people listening consistently every week, and let's just say you got an hour episode, just to make the math easy. So you just got 600 minutes of somebody's life. That's insane. You got 10 hours from those 10 people. Now, if you put
Hmm.
out an Instagram post and you get 100 likes, or whatever your size of your account is, or let's just even say you got 1,000 likes, like, how long did that take them to hit that little button? They don't care about you. I'm sorry. They're not your loyal audience. They're not like tuning in. They're not going in with you. I would take those 10 people that listen to me every week any day of the week over 100 likes on Instagram that took less than 100 seconds for somebody to like. I'd rather get those 10 hours of somebody's life that they've given me, because that's building a real bond and a real relationship. That's a one to many building of a relationship. And so, sure, it takes a
Hmm.
little bit longer, and it does take a little bit of more effort from the standpoint of mental effort of being like, what? There's only 10 people listening to this. 10 people. Is this even worth my time? Or maybe your show has 100, and you're like, there's only 100 people listening to it, whatever, or even 1,000. There's only 1,000, depending on the size of the show, right? And depending on somebody's long's been doing it, and depending on what their expectations are. But I'll tell you this: if you have 100 downloads in your show and you're doing an hour-long episode, that's equivalent to a lot of hours. And it's equivalent to sitting in front of 100 people and doing a keynote, because you have their time and they're giving you a full hour. So those 100 people, instead of watching a Netflix episode that costs $50,000 or $500,000 production value for one particular episode, they're listening to your show. So it's having respect for your craft and understanding the audience. And once you get that, then you're like, oh my gosh, like, this is insane that you get to do this. Like, you're like, man, all these people are listening. It's amazing. And again, the number doesn't matter. It could be 10 people, 10 hours. I mean, looking at the basic of basic, 10 people listening to an hour long show, that's 10 hours of their life